The moment someone disrespects you, your ego lights up, your chest tightens. You want to strike back, say something sharp, prove you're not to be played with. That's instinct. But instinct isn't power. Reacting emotionally is exactly what weak people hope you'll do. It validates their noise. True control is when you feel everything, and still say nothing until it's strategic, not out of fear, out of dominance. Because when you don't flinch, they start to wonder what you're capable of. Power is felt in your silence, not your outburst. Disrespect is bait. When someone crosses the line, they're not just testing you, they're hoping to control your reaction. If they can pull you into an emotional spiral, they win. Because now you're on their level. Now you're operating from reactivity instead of clarity. Let them talk. Let them underestimate. Let them assume. You stay still. You observe. And when you move with precision, not emotion. That's how power responds. It never hurries. It never begs. It never bleeds in public. They raise their voice, roll their eyes, push your buttons. And you think, I should shut them down right now. But if they can get you to perform for them, they've already won. Power isn't volume, it's weight. It's when your presence alone changes the temperature in the room. You don't need to bark. You let your energy say, I saw that, I measured it, and I decided it wasn't worth a reaction. That silence, that pause, that unnerving calm, that's power they can't match. People treat you based on what you allow, not what you explain. You don't have to justify your boundaries. You don't need to give emotional speeches about how you feel. You just act. You exit. You distance. You remove access. No drama. No warning. The most powerful message you can send someone who disrespects you is this: you no longer have access to my energy. And when that message is delivered in silence, it echoes louder than any comeback ever could. When someone disrespects you, the first temptation is to prove them wrong, to explain, argue, defend your value. But here's the truth. The moment you start performing for their approval, you've already placed them above you. Power doesn't explain itself. It doesn't plead to be seen. It lets the world catch up or be left behind. The more you validate yourself internally, the less you'll need to correct the external noise. Some people will test you not because you've done something wrong, but because they need to feel above you. Disrespect in these moments is projection. It's weakness dressed as dominance. But your job isn't to convince them of your value. Your job is to stop sitting where you're being tolerated and walk toward the spaces where your silence commands more respect than your words ever could. Emotional control is the highest form of dominance. Anyone can raise their voice. Anyone can clap back. But it takes a different breed to hold the fire and not burn the room. To feel the sting of disrespect and still walk with precision. You don't need to be cold. You need to be calibrated, measured, strategic. You let the storm pass, and when the dust settles, you're still standing, still in control, still dangerous, but untouched. That's presence. That's restraint. That's real power. Not everything deserves your energy, especially not disrespect. You only have so much emotional bandwidth. If you spend it correcting clowns, you'll have none left to build empires. So stop reacting to people who don't even respect themselves. Disrespect doesn't always require confrontation. Sometimes it just requires elevation. You don't fix the room, you outgrow it. You don't fight the fool, you let them talk to your absence. Your reaction teaches people how to treat you next time. Every time you explode, beg, over-explain, you reinforce their power. But when you respond with calm, clarity, and consequence, you shift the dynamic. You show that your boundary is not emotional, it's structural, unshakable, impersonal, final. People don't respect what you say. They respect what you consistently tolerate or remove. And the ones who can't handle your silence were never meant to handle your presence. Silence is not weakness. It's surveillance. There's a silence that comes from fear. And there's a silence that comes from calculation, from gathering data, from choosing the most efficient move instead of the fastest one. You let them talk. You let them show their hand. You let them think they're winning. Until the moment arrives, and you respond, not emotionally, but surgically. They expect resistance, expect drama, expect noise. What they don't expect is for you to look them in the eye and walk. No need to match their energy. You're not on the same frequency. No need to explain. You're not in court. No need to prove. Your presence already said everything. Power isn't always in the punch. Sometimes it's in the pause and the exit. There's a moment where you have to ask, is this reaction worth the erosion of my focus? Disrespect is noise. It pulls you away from your vision, your craft, your evolution. Power isn't just about how you handle confrontation. It's about what you no longer give your time, your fire, or your mind to. It's choosing peace over performance, stillness over struggle, elevation over ego. They'll forget what they said, but they won't forget how you didn't flinch, how you didn't lower yourself to meet their chaos, how you stayed rooted while they exposed their own instability. That silence becomes your signature, not weakness, not fear, authority. You spoke nothing and still said everything. Power doesn't always raise its voice. Sometimes it just sits there, completely unaffected, while everyone else burns out their energy. That's when people start paying attention. That's when they realize you're not reactive, you're sovereign. So next time someone disrespects you, remember, you're not here to fight for power. You are the power.